Well, hello there, and welcome to the Ham Brothers Podcast. I am your humble host, Robert Burnell, and with me, as always, is the walrus, Cuckoo Cachoo, Anthony Cias.
Well, hello.
And Matthew Shipway.
That's it? You gave the Cuckoo Cachoo to Cias. I don't get anything else?
The man who's always making coffee because he brews it.
I don't drink coffee.
I know you don't. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's not about you or us.
Everyone gets a specific introduction each week. So this was my week. Next week you'll get yours.
I better. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Dude, you're totally stealing the thunder from our
Okay, please
actual
continue.
fucking guests. Stand-up comedian, Juan Cias.
Hello. Hey guys. Hi, Matt. Hi, everybody.
Hey, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, no, thank you for having me, man. This is going to be fun.
Sorry we had so many technical difficulties before we started there.
That's
so
the nature of life.
I'd like to apologize in advance if this sounds shitty, just to everybody that's listening or watching or hearing.
Worse than our normal shitty. I mean, we mean in sound quality. We had to do some MacGyvering.
Last minute. Dude, it's your board. It's your board cursed. As soon as this was all set up, working last week.
No, it was nice.
Totally fine.
You were saying, "Oh, you want to take this fucking thing back? Get it out of here." And Rob's like, "No, you should keep it." And then, of course, we need to use it.
Well, see,
the day that you're trying to get
that
rid of
leads
it.
me to believe that Rob sabotaged something while I was not in the room at some point.
Man, you kept saying everything was hooked up exactly how it was last week,
It was.
and yet it did not work.
I did not touch anything. Aside from, I did move the interface
Well, that's what happened.
from here to my room
Well, why'd you do that?
because I needed to edit the episode, the last episode.
No, you sit in this garage by yourself and you edit alone.
In the cold.
My beer.
Next to the It clown. Just
Exactly. It's pretty. It's kind of creepy. We're making the guests sit right in front of the It clown.
I kind of dig it. I dig it, actually. Just knowing somebody's just watching over me just feels good, you know.
So, what would your so you work at a mortuary?
I work in a mortuary.
I creep all of our guests a little bit. You were difficult to creep on social media because you had a fuckload of posts on Facebook, especially.
Oh, yeah.
It took a long time to load. I was like, oh man, I'm trying to get back to the beginning.
Yeah, no, it's a while back.
You'd think that'd make it easier to creep on because you have so much material to.
Yeah, it's a lot of open mics.
Apparently,
Yeah,
his phone
yeah.
just couldn't handle the information.
Mostly hosting open mics and probably about other just random ass shit. Yeah, and probably a few really depressing stories in there. Yeah.
I noticed
On your
a lot
open
of
mics or just
They're kind of hand in hand.
live?
Just-
They're related.
Right.
I noticed a lot of like funeral jokes. You
Yeah.
guys like have your own like clique of mortuary people.
There's a whole like underground like movement of like funeral directors and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. And
Just share memes and shit.
What
Just
type
share
of
disgusting
movement
memes.
in terms of like are you guys rising up like against something or
Right.
someone?
We just kind of just keep. No, it's mostly just there's a movement definitely of like people trying to fucking take on the big corporate funeral shit, but also just a lot of just people are just embracing the whole death movement and just kind of just. The nihilism of it, they're embracing it and they're just fucking making it their own, and yeah, it's become a big thing now.
I got to be honest with you. I am completely unaware of the. Is there like a funeral monopoly going on here? Or?
There is a huge funeral monopoly. Like there's several different monopolies, but yeah, there's a big
Is
corporate chain.
Forest Lawn one of them?
Forest Lawn is
Those
one of them.
sons of bitches.
Forest Lawn, I think, is probably the most humblest of them all, though. Like
Okay.
they're okay in my book.
There's no fucking forest there, by the way.
Not
I mean,
a
there's a
single
lawn,
forest,
but-
right?
Just a lawn.
There's a lawn. I'll give him the
Can't mow
lawn
that
part,
shit.
But also there's other big corporations. Service Corporation International. They also go by Dignity. Like you'll see that they
Oh, I
own.
think I've seen that.
They own all the big ones. So
Okay.
like, yeah, those guys are a big thing.
The big one, the big what? Mortuary?
Yeah, the big mortuary. They have a lot of different chains and stuff like that. And I've worked with them a couple of times doing stuff. And they're efficient, but it's just a big corporate chain. And it's just like it just feels very cold.
Right.
It just feels
It's a business.
As death should be.
as it should be, but not that cold. Like
Right.
it's just
There's still people that you're
Yeah.
dealing with.
dead
Right.
people. But I mean, exactly.
They
yeah.
There's
were-
also some
they
alive
were-
people.
They were a person at some point.
Right.
Let's treat them as such.
Well, it's fucking crazy. I never really thought about
Yeah.
the mom and pop mortuary.
Juan Cias opening our eyes right now. Never
No,
expected
like
that.
no, because
Like
people.
the dad in My Girl, didn't he own? Wasn't his mortuary?
Oh,
like
that's right.
family
That's-
owned
yeah,
type
that's
of thing?
Oh shit! I only remember the scene with the bees.
Yeah, that's the only thing scene anybody
Everyone
remembers.
remembers. It's ingrained into your skull.
Macaulay Culkin was never the same.
It's like,
after
remember that other
PHF.
movie Macaulay Culkin was in where he died? I do.
Titanic, but he wasn't stung by bees in that one.
Titanic?
Wait, that's Leonardo DiCaprio.
That'd be great. That just became a running joke. Just Macaulay Culkin dies of bees in every movie. Just
That would be awesome.
Party monster.
Wait, he didn't die?
He dies of bee stings.
He didn't
He
die
filled
of
all the
bees at
bees
Home Alone?
full of LSD, and I don't even know how that would
He
work.
thought he was stung by bees. It was just many hypodermic needles.
But no, I never thought about that, really. I guess most people just try not to think about death and their own death in general, even though,
Exactly.
they tell you. I mean, that's what always bothered me. It's like, you can't even fucking die for free.
no, yeah. I mean, you kind of can, but then you're like in a potter's grave, and then like someone's coming after your family for money later
Right.
on and shit. Like, yeah.
See,
Well, it's like-
I've said just bury me at sea.
No, it's like
I don't think
Frank's
that's
character
expensive.
says
That's so
on It's Always
expensive.
Sunny. Just
No,
throw
no,
me in a
no.
dumpster.
I didn't say to pay for anybody to do it. Just take me out, like just
Just-
Weekend at Bernie's me onto like a deep sea fishing trip,
Right.
and then just huck me overboard.
Do you know what kind of trouble you would get into if I just like hucked my friend off a boat?
I mean, is international
I was
waters
about to say-
maybe fine?
I was about to say, I think there may be a loophole. International waters is one
Yeah.
of those things. Hey, no rules apply.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
can
like,
chart a boat out there.
I just need a one captain that's
Just
gonna
need
look
to
the other
slow
way.
down. Like body
Would
on
you
there?
think it'd be something equivalent to like a littering ticket, like or dumping biohazardous waste into the ocean?
right. I imagine the pirates out there would be very upset. It's like, how dare you, sir?
I'll wrap you in like dollar sign, just or like gold bars, so it looks like you're worth something.
Or no, just put them in a treasure chest, and then somebody
There you
finds
go.
it, opens up the treasure. Ah, what is this?
Damn it!
Be one of those like aquarium treasure chests where just little air bubbles come out. Just,
Instead of air bubbles, it's just by blood bubbles.
Hell yes.
Congealed blood.
You really want to be thrown in the sea?
Well, I figured it'd probably be the cheapest and easiest way to.
I don't know. You ever chartered a boat?
I feel like
Pretty expensive.
Yeah, no, I said you pay $15 going on a DC fishing trip, dude. A weekend at Bernie's. I'm telling you, it works out.
What is it? Cremation? That's got to be the cheapest, right?
Cremation is the cheapest by far. That's what I'm doing right now. Actually, I just became. I've been in the funeral business for about. I just did 13 years, and I just started doing actual cremations. Actually performing the cremations myself. So it is
Wow.
by far the cheapest, man. It's just
Do you have to like get certified to do that? Those
One-
things look scary.
it's a 1-day course. Like not even like a whole day. It's like a 3-hour course. Hey,
Flip
push-
switch.
Yeah, flip switch, move. Turn over the fish sticks every once in a while, and like that's about it. Just
Wow. So how do you like doing that? Is that
it's interesting, man. Like it
He's
like
been doing it for 13 years, so.
I've
well,
been
not
doing-
the cremation part.
yeah, the
Well,
cremation's kind of new for me, but I mean it's weird, but it's very like satisfying in a way, just to be able to erase somebody completely from the earth. It's just,
It's like gone and not a person.
yeah.
Person and not a person. Click.
So how did you get into that? Like did you just fill out a Craigslist ad or something, or what?
The funeral industry, it's kind of a weird story. I used to sell pizzas a long time ago. And I had like no fucking ambition or anything in life, and then I
So you're
used to
familiar
sold-
working
you
with
sold-
ovens.
exactly. I went from one brick up
sold
into another.
pizza, like
No, I used to work at a pizza place, and I used to also on the side sell weed,
Okay.
for extra
Okay.
income. And eventually, I was selling weed to my buddy's uncle. And I went to his house, and he had an open, like, empty casket in his living room, and he was a mortician. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And I had just so many questions. Like, I really thought about it. I was like, this is a business that's never gonna go away.
Right.
I'm a very morbid person. I like seeing fucked up shit. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, let's do it. How do I get in? And I just ever since then I've been in it. I got into one job, just picking up bodies. Because one thing with funeral homes, a lot of people don't realize, after hours they don't pick up their own bodies. They contract it out to third-party companies because their people got to get sleep. So I got a job with one of those companies, just picking up bodies and dropping off at different funeral
like
homes.
picking them up from hospitals and stuff.
Hospitals
like
and
Okay.
residences if they're on hospice and shit like that, or if they were just found. Every once in a while, I had to go pick up those gnarly cases, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And then eventually, I got on board with the funeral home, and yeah, it's been 13 years, man.
that. Is it like an internship type of thing? Like you have to go through at the
Must love dead bodies.
Right.
Not so much. I mean, I was just working that job for a while, and then they went under. And one of the funeral homes I used to drop off bodies at, like they liked me, and they were just like, "Hey, well, come get a job with us." And I was like, "For sure." So I went and jumped on board with them, and I just got to know a lot of the business, and I got to know a lot of different people from doing those transport jobs. And so then I've been able to always kind of just just jump over from one funeral home to another, and I've been doing it for a while. Yeah.
My question was what came first, the mortuary or the mustache? Is the mustache a repercussion of working?
It's a requirement. After it's like a badge of honor. I've been doing it over 10 years. That's when I earned the mustache. No, the mustache actually just came as a joke. I was in between funeral home jobs. I was like going back to the pizza delivery. And I just kind of was in a depression. I just had long facial hair, and I was like, all right. And when I had a shave, I just kind of woolly wooled it, and I just kind of like, let's see what I can do. And I just did the mustache, and I thought it was hilarious. And I was like, let's see, like, and next thing I know, like, I started like, I had it a little bit too long, and then I started doing comedy with it, and I'm just like, fuck, now I'm stuck with this.
We have very familiar origin stories with our mustaches.
Hell yes. For one mustache and another, yes, I always appreciated Matt's mustache.
So one mustache was give the road to the other.
So the most badass mustache has the right of way.
So do you direct like services and stuff too?
Yeah, I direct services, not so much anymore because I'm doing the cremations, but I meet with families, I make the arrangements, I direct the services. I used to help with the embalming. I was an apprentice for a while, and then I go pick up the bodies, and I just do a little bit of everything. Yeah, I'm really familiar with all this stuff.
Who would you say are the best mourners?
Mexicans.
Are they?
Mexicans, dude. They go all money is no object, dude. They go all out. I had one service one time with like at the actual graveside. They had like two different mariachi bands because they're like battling each other almost at the graveside. One was like kind of classy trio, and the other one was just trashy umpa music. And I was like, this is awesome. And then out of nowhere, as we turn around, we're lowering the grave. I look behind me, and there's a dancing, galloping horse. I was like, where the hell did this horse show up from? Like, it was incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, you got to celebrate. Like, no, we don't. White people don't do that shit.
Celebration.
We sing a bad hymn, and then somebody says
Well,
something sad.
that depends on the level of white, though. I think there's definitely different, varying degrees of,
It's like, I don't ever want you to be happy again after I die.
Yeah,
I don't know. Also, with white people, for the most part, you guys are like healthy. You guys live till you're old and shit, and so like all your friends are like dead. Like Mexicans are not healthy. Like they go young, and like so everyone's like fucking really mourning because this guy was like he was 40. He's got like 20 kids he's leaving behind. Like what the fuck are you gonna do?
Tio, no.
Died of a massive coronary fucking embolism or some shit. Like
Yeah, dude, those fucking tamales and all that shit catches up, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. So how long did you work with like the embalming and shit like that?
I was doing that for a few months, and I really enjoyed it, dude. It was really cool. I like put on some fucking Radiohead and everything in its right place, and just fucking just start just sewing
That sounds
up
about
bodies.
right. Yeah.
And it was dope, dude. And but eventually I was like, dude, like the chemicals really got to me. Like
Really?
the smell. Like I would like after doing a case, I would go home, and I'd be eating my dinner, and I could just still smell it on my fingers. And like,
You know
for
how,
the
like,
next,
you get weed on your finger? Just can't get it off.
right? Exactly.
Like that, but death.
There's no like any sort of solvent or something to
Not
like,
really. I mean, even with gloves on, you can just still smell like depending on like the fluids you're using, and they're
Right.
really strong. It just permeates.
Yeah,
and
it's
it
like,
just-
what's more powerful than death?
Yeah,
Right.
it's bad, dude. And
Yeah, what
eventually,
is-
it would burn my nose, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
You know, like in the
respirators?
fucking movies, they always the coroners are always putting like a white substance under their nose.
Yeah.
Is that real?
That's pussy shit, bro.
Is that what that shit?
It's actually
pussy
schmegma
shit, dude.
that
Like,
they're
I've-
putting under their nose.
Jesus.
I've never known a single person to do that. Like, I've been in some gnarly cases. I remember
Well,
one time.
tell us about one.
Yeah. I remember one time we get to a case. It was in Long Beach, and the guy was like a recluse, obese recluse guy.
Oh, I already
And
know where
so-
this is going.
Yeah, he was not found for like at least two months. So eventually the neighbors noticed an odor that was a little more fouler than usual, and they're just like, okay, let's call somebody. And so the cops get there, and so they call us, and we got to go pick him up because it wasn't deemed a coroner's case. Now, with the coroner's case, the coroners sent people, so it was just a regular case. So they released it to the mortuary.
What's a coroner's case versus
If
a
it-
regular case?
Coroners would
The way
only
they
be involved
died?
if it was like an unexpected death, like either a homicide or the dude just hadn't seen a doctor in years, so like they don't know what it was. So, but this guy
Right.
had seen a doctor. They know he had health problems, so they just like, all right,
Gotcha.
this is what he died from.
Right.
So they released it to us. So the guy was still there for over 2 months. So we had to like move him. And I remember the cops. So like the cops are always like they always wait outside because they don't want to see smell that shit. And I get in there and I'm like the lead guy because I've been in there for the longest, and I'm
Right.
working with the kind of my crew of dudes, and I'm just like, all right, we got to, because he's face down, so you can't have him face down, so we got to roll him over, and he's just covered like in the stage of decomposition. When they get to about 2 months, they get to this bloat really bad bloat and just odor. So he just really was like
All
that.
the blood is pulled down at the
Exactly. Wherever the blood is at the lowest, that's where it gets really nasty. So it's
Right.
all in the face. So we had to roll him over, and it just like, and this smell just came out, and it was really bad. I came close to throwing. I had to walk out of the room and kind of gather myself, but I was able to go back in there and just like able to roll him up and got him out of there. And it's just like, it's always like, it sucks in the moment, but when you're in the van, you got to load him up. It's like, you feel like a sense. It's like I don't know if you play Zelda. It's like when you beat like the fucking like the water temple almost. It's just
okay,
like,
okay. No,
it's
yeah,
like
I know exactly what
a
you're
sense
talking
of
about.
accomplishment. You're just like, I don't know how I did it, but I did it. You know.
You're my fucking hero, man. I cut shit sometimes that I'm like, dead bodies. I can't even dude. I can smell that shit. I'm very sensitive to that smell.
Oh, dude.
I think most people have a sensitivity to the smell of death.
Yeah, it's the carry on. Yeah, like that smell is just very. It's naturally like
Instinctive.
You over time, man knows that smell is danger. So avoid that smell. It's
Right.
instinctively you avoid that smell. But
Not you though.
no, I go running. To me, it smells like money. I'm just like, hell yes, there's money to be had. Let's go for it. Like I had one just case recently. The person was found this is a weird one. She was found back in October of last year. That's when she was found, but she was dead easily about 2 months before that.
Right.
We've been calling the coroner's office and they can't ID her, so that she's been at the coroner's office for a few months. And we finally get her in house, and I was working cremation, so I had my respirator on. And everyone's like freaking out about the smell, and I'm like, I gotta see what this smells like. So I take off my respirator, and like I was like, it doesn't smell bad. Like I put my face literally like within inches of her, and I'm like, I took a big whiff, and like everybody was freaking out, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, this doesn't smell like I don't.
Right.
It smells like
New
manure.
guys puking in the back.
Yeah,
of the
please
corner.
don't vomit
so-
on the body.
What smell do you hate?
Indian food.
Roses.
Indian food.
Indian food makes you
like there's certain Indian food, yeah, especially that actually.
that you
Person who ate Indian food and then died, and like in his, and like that's like that smell is always bad, dude. What like people like they purge, and that's when like whatever's the stomach contents and stuff
Right.
come up. That shit smells terrible when it's like
So
Indian people.
if that was their last meal,
Oh,
you're just like,
wow.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's like,
Let's
I'm
get
not-
Gary on this case. I was sitting in there.
I was just about to announce, like, that's right, Indian people. Juan says your food smells worse than death. Like, I mean, you took it to the other level that they ate it before they died.
just before they died.
Yeah, I don't really like the way it smells outside of a dead person.
Oh, I thought this smelled bad on the outside. Yeah, that old line. Hell yeah.
I have a stupid question.
Yeah. There's no
how,
stupid question.
how long would it take in dirt? I would suppose
Mm-hmm.
to go from dead person to skeleton.
I would say, like, without any type of embalming fluid or without anything at all, I mean, you're looking at, like, to absolute skeleton with, like, really nothing on it left, you're looking at about over a year, probably.
Okay.
I mean, because...
That's it?
Now, is that within a casket, too? Because certain caskets prevent.
No, I'm saying, like, he was saying with
decomposition.
just dirt.
Just in the dirt. Okay.
It's like when I kill Kais and bury him in the fucking forest. He's pretty thick too, so maybe like 13 months.
Probably a
Maybe
little bit
14.
longer. I can imagine, like, there's some a lot of preservatives in there.
I was thinking about that because I was watching that Ted Bundy thing on Netflix.
Right, that was good.
And it's like, oh, fucking bones. It's like, how long was that there? But then I'm like, no, the animals.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
the animals fucking.
Now that's like a pretty interesting pickup line. It's like I can tell you how long your body will decompose after you die.
Like, hey, baby, you ever
that's a
wondered how
pretty
long
good
it
way
would
to
take
get
for you to
maced.
become a
Oh, really?
skeleton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always, it's funny. Women, when they find out what I do, their first thing is like, oh my God, I always want to do that. I always want to do their makeup. And I just always like give them a stern look, and just depending what they look like, I'm like, honey, I will not let you touch my dead bodies.
Do you have to make them up?
I've done a little bit of it. I'm not good with it. Like, I'm okay with it. I can, but for the most part, there's other guys that in the funeral home that will do that.
It's like that. What was that movie with Death Becomes Her? Mm-hmm. With who was
Goldie Hawn,
Goldie Hawn and
Meryl
I forget the other
Streep.
chick.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell, wasn't it Kurt Russell? Was
Bruce
that-
Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis was the
okay.
funeral director, but he's like spray painting him and shit.
Oh yeah, dude. I used to work at one place. Yeah, the guys they were really detailed. They get really into it, man. It was always nice.
Like airbrushing and shit.
Yeah, the airbrushing and like facial reconstruction, depending what they had. They died of. You had to like wax the shit out of them and just make them look normal. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's always hard.
So what you personally, when you go, what are you gonna go on the ground or?
Viking funeral. Just 'cause-
Yes,
No.
that's
Sounds about right,
option
yeah.
B as well.
Dude, that
for
would
me.
be dope, actually. Like, but no, just cremation. It's just it's the most economical way, and like the thing with ashes now is you can do so much with them, dude. Like, there's so much shit. People are like taking really fine ash and like mixing it in tattooing. People are turning like they compress them down with diamonds. You can plant them with like soil and like grow a tree out of them.
Right.
There's
Turning
one
into
company
art
that
I've seen.
dude, there's one company that turns them into a dildo. Like fucking
I've seen that.
dude, the dildo company is it's a hot seller, man.
I don't know, babe.
Can't fuck anybody else after I'm dead.
Yeah, if you
Well, no, imagine being the next guy, and then finding that somehow,
Right.
Well, it's like
and
okay,
then
so-
learning that her ex's ashes are in the dildo.
Okay, well, if it's your ex's ashes and you turn it into a dildo, do you make the dildo bigger than the actual
Right.
dick?
just however much ash there is.
However much-
Probably won't be very much.
You know, if you make more, it's not just your dick ash.
You don't
We
just
chop
spit
the
on it
dick
and then
off.
try and form it together.
No, it's your entire body's ash
No,
into a
it's-
dildo, right?
It is actually what it is it's a glass sculpture and there's just a compartment for them to stick ashes in there.
damn.
So yeah.
I thought it was like compressed like a piece of coal.
That like I'm sure you can, but I can't imagine how expensive that would be to make like
Right.
an actual replica. Like it would hurt. I would think like it would be like diamond and sharp and shit. Like
Oh, I've always said
How much ash does a human body produce?
A
Depends.
coffee can full.
like
According to the
like
Big
him.
Lebowski.
yeah, I was about to say, depending on the size of the person. Yeah, typically for the most part, it really doesn't matter like how big they are. It all burns down to about like 7 to 8 pounds. Like they say, so, the big bone things. That's not true. It kind of is, dude. I've seen some dudes. It's like these bones are fucking dense. Like these are
Right.
solid bone. Yeah. So it depends on the person. For the most part, though, about 7 to 8 pounds, man.
Okay.
Every so often, though, we have them in actual caskets, and that's like a lot more ash and shit. So
Well, I've always said that like
When you have them in actual caskets,
people will buy caskets for services because if you're cremated, you can still have a full-on service instead they'd be cremated afterwards. So
right?
some places offer rental caskets. We don't. We just sell the whole casket. And, hey, that you take that with them, and they burn it.
And okay.
If it's got to be wooden
Okay.
though, it has to be wooden.
Well,
casket.
right,
yeah.
right. Oh, okay, so they do like the viewing with the casket and then burn the
Right.
casket with the body.
interesting.
Okay.
Right.
well, I've always said I wanted to be cremated and you just scattered unless I was murdered, and then I want my ashes into hollow points for you to shoot my assailant.
There's a way to. I'm sure, dude. Like, there's a company that makes like jewelry pieces with a bullet, and then it's an actual bullet. So I'm sure that can fucking.
Oh yeah,
happen.
absolutely.
Now
Dude.
finding the assailant, I guess the tricky part, but
What would you say is the weirdest request that you've received for ashes or any type of service?
I wouldn't say like I didn't receive this request myself, but I mean I heard one family member tell me that they with their brother that had passed away, they mixed their ashes into like a firework mortars, and they fucking launched them off over the
Okay.
harbor.
Kinda
I was
like-
that's pretty
yeah.
badass, dude.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, a little
bit. He
bit.
shot out of a cannon. kinda?
Exactly, dude. It's
'Cause
dope.
that's what he did, right?
Yeah, it
was
cost
his
Johnny
ashes.
Depp like
Yeah.
$100,000.
No, it cost him like $4 million to do
What?
that
Was it
shit.
really?
Really, I didn't know about that. Holy,
Yeah.
I'm about to
He
look
shot
that
it
up.
into space.
No
Yeah.
way.
Into space.
Oh,
Is that what?
Like,
I
that
thought,
shit
I
is
thought it was
not
just shot him out of a
cheap.
cannon.
well, there's
No.
videotape
Out of a
it.
cannon into space.
Oh, I didn't know.
Dude,
that
yeah, the
part.
trajectory on that, like that came in like rockets, kind of reasonable, but out of a cannon into space,
Yeah,
it's
Right,
like,
like
holy
look
shit.
that shit up. Like that almost bankrupted him.
I'm about to find that. I'm gonna look
that's a
into
good
that.
fucking
We're-
video.
see, that's why we need a Jamie, dude. We need a freaking
Yeah, no,
right?
somebody on
I
the
looked it up,
freaking-
Jamie.
the computer freaking getting it on for us.
Yeah, we do.
Well, we do have iPhones.
Well, Rob was calling you Green Band earlier, so you fucking look it up.
You can't be red or blue, but you can be green band if you want, Caius. And with 8 pounds of ash, you could put me in like a full, like banana clip, like an AK.
You can
know?
murder so
No,
many
just
people.
mix
could
me
have-
into a huge pile of cocaine and snort me up.
Or just really shoot up one person with a lot of
the
bullets.
shit out of somebody.
Yeah, if they murdered me, you better give them all of my ash bullets. Just
All 8 pounds, motherfucker.
takes you like 25 minutes. I don't give a shit. Just fucking blast
hold
this
on.
motherfucker.
Gotta reload this. Yeah, I have to pour more ash into these bullets. Hold on.
Oh, that was the other thing I noticed. You like Tool.
Yeah, love
That's
Tool.
Kyle Gridley was here last week.
I was listening to that. Yeah.
We talked. He loves Tool. Why? What is it about comedians from San Bernardino that love Tool?
I think it takes us out of the realm of San Bernardino.
Right.
So anything that takes us out of San Bernardino is like a good thing. But yeah, dude, yeah, love Tool, man.
Did you get to our bit about the Carousel Mall? Was it pretty accurate?
Yeah, dude, it is. It's so depressing. Like it is so fucking like that mall is immaculate. Like the construction on that is really incredible, and they just let it go to shit. And just like, dude, what the. Dude, San Bernardino is like it's a tragic story because back when Norton Air Force Base was there, incredible. But then they took they closed it down. They took all the money with them, and then crack and all that shit, and then Cops. That show Cops, literally the fucking just ratings. They just like were through the roof in San Bernardino.
No, it's like all the episodes of Cops, well, for the majority on the West Coast, always happen in San Bernardino, Pomona.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and you'd
Well,
always be
I've seen
like,
some Long
"What,
Beach
what?"
here once in a while, but yeah, it's usually Pomona, San Bernardino.
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
when you're watching an episode, you're like, hey, wait a minute, I know that fucking street.
Yeah.
exactly. They were proud of that shit. They were just like they're repping that shit, dude. Like hell yeah.
Gotta keep our ratings up.
I mean, hey, dude, if you're gonna get arrested, you might as well be like on TV a little bit.
Fuck yeah, get your 15 minutes of fame out of it, dude. Hell yeah.
Have you ever pondered exactly how you would rob a bank? Of course you have.
Well,
Yeah.
Did you?
yeah.
I mean, nothing that will
I mean,
actually
I'm not going
get
to
me
tell
away
you
with
guys because that's my plan.
My plan involves a
You're not gonna cut us
lowered
in?
van.
A van.
Yeah, a
Just
van
one
on
van?
a van on bags, right? And then so we're gonna rob the bank. We're gonna get back in the van, and then to a predetermined like manhole,
Yeah.
right? And then we'll drop the bags, and one guy stays behind to like shoot at the cops for a while the rest of us get away with the money, and then we blow up the fucking van.
You just
Right.
gave away the next heist movie.
Right.
Oh,
It's like,
man.
Well, no, that,
Somebody's
isn't
gonna
that
steal that.
didn't they do that in Jay and Silent Bob? Or
Did
I
they?
don't know. I don't think so. I don't remember.
Something.
I love that it always involves a van. It has to be a van.
Yeah, right?
Panel van.
You got a lot of people.
Well, if
Yeah,
you got
them all
if you got
in.
a crew of about
Right.
4 or 5 guys, you need a van.
Can't get away in an
Yeah.
RV.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have one guy for crowd control. Kai's is gonna crack the safe, I guess.
Oh no, I'm crowd control, dude. What are you talking about?
Everybody shut the fuck up. Sit down.
You need one dude man in the radio in the van. Like just fucking that's responsibility.
Getting the
It's like,
getaway tunes ready.
hell yeah.
No, he's listening to the CB, seeing if the cops how long you got till the cops get there.
Oh, that radio. No, see, I'm thinking like you're trying to find like
Just
yeah,
the-
some
both
escape
exactly.
tunes.
That's-
Yeah, some escape songs.
That's a heavy duty. Like both of those things. You have to man both of those things. It's just-
A lot of
radio
responsibility.
That's a 2-man job, but you're doing it as one.
It's a big responsibility choosing the theme song.
To
Yeah.
get away.
do you
your
go
getaway.
banjo or do
Just
you go
always
like,
Eye of the Tiger.
Dun, 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 ding, 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 ding. Like some Benny Hill, perhaps,
oh, that'd be awesome.
that's
Hell yeah.
perfect.
if you want your escape to be silly.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the seriousness of your escape that you're.
Yeah.
Dude, it might be full dubstep escape. It might be.
I think
That's
it's-
how intense it is.
It depends on the bank, I would think. Like if it's like a credit, like an Altura, like yeah, banjos for sure. Like if it's a
Banjo, yeah.
Bank of America, for sure, you want to go like
dubstep. Like,
Hell
well,
yeah.
well, see, then the larger the bank, the greater the escape.
Hell
so
yeah.
you have some sort of. There's got to be at least 2 jumps involved with the van. You
Right.
know, like at least one explosion.
I bank
somewhere.
at Westcom, so like I'm more of a. It'd be more like of a house getaway.
it's
Like
very-
a late '90s getaway.
Oh, okay.
hell yeah.
It's
I
still
think that.
intense, but it's not quite,
Like some-
dubstep or anything.
DJ Richard Humpty Vision, perhaps.
Yeah, it was like the shit in like '98.
Yeah.
That would be my escape from my credit union.
Hell yeah. Humpty Dance is a dance.
Right. No, that's the wrong Humpty.
Oh,
Digital Underground is the Humpty Dance.
that's all. I'm from San Bernardino. That's what I know. I'm sorry.
So how long have you been doing stand up for?
This will be my 4th year. My 4th year doing stand up now, dude. It's been a fun journey, man. It's been really good.
What motioned you into that?
I therapy. I was working at one place for a while, one mortuary, like where they paid my rent. I literally lived on the premises, so like,
shit. Okay.
and that was I had like a lot of extra income, but I was also going through a lot of like emotional turmoil at that point. And I went to see a therapist, and I just like it came out during my therapy session. And he's all, "Why don't you go try it?" Like, there's open mics and shit. And I was like,
Right.
"Really?" I was like, "I didn't know." And
Oh
I
shit.
thought
Okay, so you were actually doing therapy. I thought you meant it like as like it was a form of therapy.
it eventually became, because I haven't been to a therapist ever since.
Yeah,
But
Right.
that's all comedy is. It's all
Right.
therapy.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fucking dope therapist.
right,
Right.
I owe my
It's like,
entire
I'm
career
really
to that
tired of
guy.
talking to you. You should go tell a
Yeah,
whole
he
room
doesn't-
of
you
other
don't
people.
reciprocate. I don't get a
can't
laugh.
fucking help you. So just try this out. I don't know.
Exactly, and it was cool, like, cause he was expensive, so I was like, yeah, this is way better. This is way better.
You're all 2-item minimum, no problem. That's
Yeah.
way cheaper than a copay.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any insurance, and like I was like, I'll pay out of pocket. I said I had a lot of extra income, but I was a dumbass at that point. So I was like, I can spend $100 per therapy, per session. This is
Right.
fine. This is not a big deal. No, it was.
So do you find yourself working in, your tight jokes, your tight set into some of those every so often?
No,
You ever
I mean,
try material on like your customers?
Yeah, no, dude. That's one thing when I'm
So serious about
dude,
that.
when I'm at work, man, like, yeah, I had somebody the other day tell me, it's like, well, you don't seem very funny at all. 'Cause, like, somebody found out I was a comedian. I was like, yeah, I'm at work. Like, yeah, I take this shit very seriously.
Yeah.
So,
So what, do you joke around at fucking Home Depot? It's not the place.
Yeah.
Did you find that your work was affecting at all or exacerbating your depression or anything at all that you were struggling
yeah,
with?
I think on a subconscious level, like I said, when I first started, I was like, dude, it's cool. I'm going to see dead people. It's
Right.
fucking cool. And like, but eventually I was like, I realized like that, like what it was I was doing. And like subconsciously it was affecting me a lot. Like,
Was that when you moved to like the front of house type of thing, like where you were like doing the directing and stuff like that?
more when I started meeting with families, because you hear
Right.
the stories and shit like that. It's just
Right.
like some stories are just so fucking depressing, where it's like, oh my god, this is like, they're such good people, and you want to like give away everything for free, but you're just like, I'm so sorry, here's your $10,000 bill. It's just like, it was just terrible, dude. It's emotionally just devastating for them.
We
and me.
thought we were connecting with you.
I know. That's what I'm paid to do that. Here's your bill.
Dad just died.
That's pretty incredible. You were able to separate the normal reaction, like the visceral reaction to actual physical death that most of us have, like seeing a dead body, not fucking on my
Right.
list of shit, right? But you're able to separate that, but it's more seeing the people that are left behind's worst day
Yeah.
Right.
over and over again. That's probably a lot more taxing.
That's what it was, I think, more than anything. And like, but eventually, though, I would just kind of I didn't know how to fucking sympathize with these people. But after doing it for so long, I got really good at it.
Right.
Like, I know how to fucking.
I would assume so. I would hope anyway.
I just learned, like, whatever depending the situation was. Like, if it was sudden, like, I understand it's sudden, the shock of that is a lot. But just taking into consideration that he was doing fine yesterday. He didn't have a miserable, like, he didn't have a like.
Right. It
So-
wasn't suffering.
But then if they were suffering, it was like, well, at least you had your opportunity to say goodbye, this and that. It's like, so I just learned how to just, adjust to whatever it is they're going through. And it's always like, except for parents, you would like, those are the ones who are like, I don't have a kid, so like, I don't know how to fucking relate with that.
Right.
When they're like babies, I walk in there sometimes looking at the dude, I'm just like, dude, you dodged a bullet, bro. Like, yeah, like this chick is a hoe for sure. Like, like, I don't know how to relate, so I feel terrible, dude.
It's like,
my
you don't
God.
even, dude, by 18, it's like $500,000 you just pocketed right now.
Hey, listen, dude. This 10 grand bill I'm about to hand you.
Nothing.
Way cheaper.
Nothing.
You're getting off
So
cheap,
much
bro.
cheaper.
Listen.
Don't worry about it.
Coming out of winter.
401k is looking great now.
Have you ever had any sort of like creepy experiences? Like, have you creeped yourself out or
Any
psyched
ghosts?
yourself out?
You seen any ghosts in there? Is that what he's saying?
Any body twitches? Like,
There's one. I'll answer both of your questions there. To when it comes to body twitches, I had one time where it was like a really weird scenario. I go to a house call. The guy was on hospice, and we get there, and like it was like a weird, just crack, like not crack, but like tweaker house for sure. Like
Right.
at least one, like the nephew was a tweaker for sure. So we're in there, and we're getting to remove the body, and like he comes in out of nowhere. We're just like, hey, do you find his cell phone? Because like he promised he was gonna give me that before he died. And I'm just like, dude, like. we're not worried about that at all right now. And like we're moving him, and he's like, just can you check under him for the phone? I'm just like, all right. Like we go and we check him, and like. And like as we move him, like typically we move him, like I said, you get purged every once in a while. But this guy, I'd never seen this. He almost like as we're moving him, like projectile vomited, like the body
my
projectile
God.
vomited. I've never seen this before, and it smelled like, dude, what had happened? For sure, what fucking happened is this guy died. Everyone in the family was drinking, you know, because there's like, oh, you know, and they were giving him shots as he was dead for sure, because you can just smell alcohol like in this purge, and it was like so the body was like reacting to it or something, and they just fucking rejected it, and it was like he was just fucking throwing up, and I was like. I'd never seen that before, and it kind of it threw me back. But I had to keep my composure in front of people and make it seem like this is normal.
You still have to be a professional.
You got
Thanks
the real life
for,
exorcist fucking treatment right there.
And it was creepy. And like eventually the nephew came back and was like, "Oh no, I found it. Never mind." I was just like, "You fucking prick!" Like,
Oh man.
yeah, dude.
You're all and get him up while you're at it, son.
Yeah, it was,
Did you ever find out what was the actual cause of death of that particular case?
no, that one was when I was just doing transport. So I literally just
Right.
picked him up and just took him to the places. But
Right.
it looked like it was for sure cancer. I think I asked him like what it was, because every once in a while, depending on it, I'll
Cancer,
just,
you said?
yeah, I'll ask him like you know,
And
like,
they
hey,
were just giving him shots while he was dead.
like after it was like it seemed like either right before he died or like you know like after he died, they're
Right.
probably just doing it as like just drunken, just like oh, this is one last shot for you, you know, like yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm if I know the end is coming, I'm gonna
Fuck
take
it.
a few fucking
I mean,
shots.
well, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but
that's
do you
something to
wanna
consider for the morticians
I
that are
know.
taking care of you.
Well, do you want us
It's fine.
shoving
Do we see it?
shots
I don't care.
down
Fuck it.
your
No.
dead body?
Now,
Like-
in regards to in regards to the ghosts, though, like
Okay.
I've never seen anything like that crazy. Like I've built up like I don't startle easily, and like and that's gonna become like the death of me, man. Because like I remember one time being in a funeral home where like at 4 a.m. and like there was supposed to be nobody there, but out of nowhere like an embalmer walked out. It was like, don't get scared, and like like the person with me got fucking terrified, and I was like, huh? And I just like I don't startle, and but there's certain funeral homes where you can sense something there. I've never seen a ghost, but you definitely hear noises, or you just feel like some like the fucking
Right.
creepy it clown
Well,
that's
it's like
behind me
they
right now.
didn't
Watching me,
die-
like,
they didn't die there, so it should be okay. It's usually the
Exactly.
places where they die. That's where like most people. It's like
I always
that's where
complained
all
that-
this activity happens.
My problem was always like ghosts all seemed to be from like the 17th century for some reason, or like the early 1800s. It was never like an 80s ghost.
Because like they died like at 20, like that was their maximum life.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
upset. It was like
I
this is
lived a long,
bullshit.
There's
life.
more of them dead, probably. Like,
More
Exactly.
more probability of ghosts.
do you believe in ghosts at all, or
Now that is where I'm kind of like conflicted, because to believe in ghosts would like kind of almost have to believe like in a
Afterlife.
or in like not just afterlife but heaven and hell almost type of deal. But I don't know. I think like there's certain situations where something was so traumatic that it picked up, you know, just like that general, like it stays
Energy,
permeated in that spot or something.
Right.
Because there are certain spots where you just walk in and it's like, whoa, what the fuck's this aura I just stepped into?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. That's like a whole nother thing I've like always kind of contemplated that I can never really quite reach my conclusion on. you know?
right?
It's possible.
It's deep.
It's
yeah.
still scientifically possible without being like spiritual.
yeah.
Right.
I saw a
Something-
ghost once.
Oh, here we go.
I want to hear it.
The
just
smirk
saying.
tells me that it's gonna be a fake story.
It's not. It's really not.
I wanna
It's
hear
not.
this.
I was like maybe 10 or 12, and I was staying the night at my friend Kyle's house, and we were staying in his living room, and it was probably like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had woken up. I looked over to my right, and I saw in the next room a person in like a robe, kind of, just moving. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Was it your friend's dad?
It was
going
not.
to take
well,
a shit or something.
No, it was not. And I saw that, and I was like, okay, I need to go back to sleep because this is terrifying me right now.
Well,
and I did.
how flowing was the robe?
It wasn't flowing at all.
It wasn't. There was
There
no
was no
wind.
flow.
Was it a
There's
closed
no spiritual
flow?
wind.
It was okay. So it kind of looked like a gi. From,
It's a karate ghost.
Yes,
okay?
a karate ghost. And then I asked my friend about it the next day. I was like, dude, I fucking saw something in your living room while I was supposed to be asleep, but I wasn't. What the fuck is going on? He's like, oh, my neighbor, about 10 years before we moved here, she was a karate championship person, and she killed herself.
In his house?
No, next door neighbor.
Wow, she's
Directly
distance
next door
haunting.
neighbor.
Oh, wow. That's pretty fucking rude.
It
She's
freaked
bored of
me
her
the
own
fuck
house.
out.
She's a radius of like 100 feet.
I don't know if he was fucking with me or not, but that was something that always kind of stuck with me.
Ghost Radius sounds like a great name for a band.
I think that was like if it's Kyle Gridley, like that was him fucking with you for sure.
Definitely-
Like,
definitely
my,
wasn't,
my
no.
teacher, she was a karate teacher.
I
for
don't
sure.
even think he was born when that happened.
Oh yeah, he's a youngster. That's why
youngster.
I realized how young he was when we had him on.
Karate Ghost is also a fucking great name for a band.
That's our next shirt, Karate Ghost.
Hiya!
Hell yeah.
Chop through you won't do anything. Oh,
Yeah,
Karate Ghost chopping through
they're chopping
blocks
through
of
the
wood.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Karate Ghost shirts coming soon, kids. Coming very soon. Yeah, why would you still need the gi? I don't know.
Maybe
I
that's
mean,
what
it's
she
because you
died
died
in. I don't
in
know.
it, but you know.
I think it
Or what
just
if-
looks comfortable.
What about jewelry?
I saw what I saw.
Does jewelry
I may
go
have been
with you
dreaming,
as
I
well?
don't know. Huh?
Does jewelry continue to the ghost
I
realm?
didn't see it.
No
it was
jewelry?
from- it was
Depends on
probably-
if it was involved in the death. I think.
What about your caps and your teeth?
Those go.
Is there a
Yeah,
ghost
those are
dentist
not-
that can
Those
maybe
you can't get rid of them.
see
Like
that? I don't know.
those, even after cremation, they're still fucking there.
Oh,
like
shit,
those
really?
you can't get
Oh.
rid
But
of.
you guys got like a giant bag of them or something?
No, well, we just throw them away, like, biohazard. But yeah, no, they.
Oh, yeah, gross,
That
right?
and underwire bras, like those are fucking permanent. Those never go away.
Well, it's
Why-
good to
why-
know.
Why are you burning people that are still wearing their bras?
Well, yeah, I said they have a viewings and whatnot.
I was like,
Oh, what the fuck
naked.
you
I'm not
wanna-
about to take her bra.
Yeah, what do you want them to do with the
I don't
clothes, dude?
fucking know, man.
Excuse me.
You could reuse the clothes for the next guy. I don't know, dude. Come on.
Hey, that's Pap Pap suit.
Yeah.
Well, how would you know that unless you're attending other people's funerals?
You ever see somebody buried in some shit like, damn, that look good on me?
I have. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a
And
badass suit.
I'm wearing a certain insert of underwear right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Beautiful.
So how long did you say that you've been doing the cremation now?
I just started doing that. It's probably been about 6-7 months. Not even that. You
Because
know.
I was going to ask if you've had like any sort of particular like a stubborn case or something.
Oh
like-
yeah, yeah, I have. No, absolutely. I had one case. It was now in the funeral business. In the cremation business, you learn like you do your heavy cases first, and then as the day goes on, you get lighter and lighter. And so,
Heavy cases. What do you mean?
like over like
Lots of dead people?
Oh, okay.
yeah, either caskets or like over 300 pounds. Like you
Okay.
do
Oh,
those-
so literally heavy. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
There are a lot of dead people over 300 pounds, man.
yeah, this
yeah,
day and age,
yeah,
in this day and
yeah,
age,
yeah.
absolutely.
How high is
I
that?
believe obesity is one of the number one
Well,
causes
heart
aside from heart
disease.
disease.
I would
Well,
say
yeah.
we get like they come in. It's weird. They come in threes. Like I swear to God, whenever we get one fat guy, for sure see two more. Like after that,
It's a good day for fat fucks to die.
so we
Shit.
normally get like probably like every other month we get the three with like probably every other month or so, and they fucking like we got to go do those either caskets or those first in the morning. So I had one time where I was covering that my first like it was almost like my first week in cremating. It wasn't intended to be Hell Week, but it ended up becoming that. So I had a casket first, and afterwards I was like, all right, I'm going to do a regular case. And the dude who normally does the cremation was like, nah, do this heavy guy. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I was like, all right.
That definitely sounds like he was fucking with you.
Looking back on that, he probably for sure was fucking with me. So I put the heavy case in there, and I'm cremating him. Now the rule is you're not supposed to open the door, when you start cremating somebody for about an hour. After about an hour, you want to kind of double that, a little bit like about an hour and a half when they're that big.
Like leaving a pizza in.
Exactly. You don't want to disturb the temperatures. You know,
Right, you
just-
want to leave it in the microwave.
Wanted to cook evenly.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it was a busy day. I got lost track of my time. So it was like maybe about half an hour after I started it that I opened the door, and it literally looked like the fucking depths of hell in there. Like it was just so much smoke and so much fire. And like I look off to the side, I see a fucking hole in the side of our crematory retort. So I'm like, oh my God. And I start freaking out. And I go back to the front very calmly. I'm just like, hey, is our crematory operator still here? So no, he just left to go run some errands out of the office. It's like, okay. They're all, why, is there a problem? I was like, I don't know. And the owner,
I'm not sure yet. That's why I needed to get this guy in here.
so the owner happened to be there, and he's not very rarely, he's very rarely there. And he was like, well, come show me. So he opened, and I'm telling him what it was. He's like, what is it? Well, what is it? And I was like, well, I don't know if it's a problem. It can be something normal. I don't really. He's like, well, just tell me what it is. I was like, I'll show you. So I opened the door, and he looks at it, and he sees it too, and he's like, holy shit. He's like, get him back here right now. So we call the guy back, and he comes down, and he looks at it, and he's just like, nah, it's fine. And he fucking like throws the little rake that we use in there to reposition the bodies and just pulls the whole body kind of forward and just kind of like, don't worry about it. And like when it's done, I look in that spot and the hole is fucking gone. Like there was no hole. It was just like, it was the heat mirage or something. And that kind of fucked with me, dude. Like that was like the rest of the day. I was like, I saw the hole. Like, God damn it. Like the fucking gremlin was on the wing. Like I saw the damn thing.
Mirages are real, dude. Have you ever drove up to San Francisco?
No.
Taking that drive, it's nothing but fields, but it looks like there's fucking water everywhere. It's so crazy.
I have seen those random, mirages. It's weird. Yeah.
He was
So what,
talking
do you
about
think it
a
was
dead body
just the severe
mirage.
amount of
Well,
the
I'm talking
fat
about
and everything in the
other
body that
mirages.
was causing that much flame and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What it is, it's a natural fuel. I mean, the fat is just a natural fuel.
Right.
So you really, once you start flaming those ones up, like it just kind of, the flame kind of goes into what's called like a low flame, where it just kind of it retracts the flame a little bit, and the body's like, or it's cooking itself at that point once
Right.
once it's really cooking up good. So I just opened it up while it was still like in high flame, and I just saw that, and it was just like it freaked me out, but it turned out to be fine. But that was just a weird week for me. So.
Now,
You ever
I
like
know that
lose a body?
That is a good
Just
question.
place one for a second. No, don't answer that. I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, I have, and I've already kind of faced the repercussions for that. It was a baby, and it was fucking fucked up. It was like I was working in this place's
of all the
transport.
bodies
In your
to
defense, they're
lose.
very small.
Exactly, like that was my defense, and like they didn't see it that way, but. But dude, like, so I get to this hospital, and they're like, and I had been like, it's been a long. I just transferred over to this new company, this transport company. It was busy as shit, and I get to the hospital, and like babies are always bundled up really tight, like in a bunch of blankets and shit like that. And so like, you gotta like I was like, I don't feel like unbundling all this and
Right.
looking at a dead baby right now. I was like, the baby's in there.
Why would you have to?
Because you have to always make sure the baby's in there.
Oh, well, okay.
So,
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
A bag of rocks.
So I felt it. I was like, yeah. I was like, it felt the weight. I was like, yeah, baby's in there for sure. And so I get back to the funeral home. I just kind of just skip a couple of steps, and I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And
It's on the top of the car.
What fucking steps?
Are you sure you want to finish telling this story right now?
no, fuck it. I'm ready this way in. I'm ready. I'm kind of like I said, I'm kind of drunk. Thank you. But so like I was like, you have to always tag a body. I was just
Right.
give it the toe tag,
Toe
the toe
right.
tag. And I didn't toe tag that baby because I was like, I don't want to look at this dead baby. The baby's in there. I know the baby's in there. I'm,
toe tag that sucker.
and so like I get a call the next day and so, bro, where's the baby? I was like, what are you talking about? The baby's in the cooler. No, they opened it up. There was no baby in there. I was like, what do you mean? Like, why the fuck would they just bundle like an empty set of blankets? Like, so like I went like I had to just fucking salvage the situation. I called down back to the hospital. I explained to them it all. No, the baby signed out. I was like, no, I know that, but the baby's still there, and like ended up becoming a big fucking problem. Like, I couldn't drop off at that mortuary anymore at that point. Like they told them like, oh, we fired him, but they didn't fire me. And like, I'm at another spot now. Like, and after that, I fucking learned always check the dead
That's why
baby.
the mustache.
Wait. So where was the fucking baby?
I don't know. I lost that baby,
Never
bro. Like,
found the baby.
me and those parents both lost that baby. Like,
It was definitely dead, so
So what happens in that situation? What do you fucking tell the people?
I guess like at that point, the mortuaries had to tell the parent. Like they did find it, but it was at the hospital.
Okay.
But like they
Okay.
fucking like, they had to tell the parents, hey,
we're not sure
sorry,
where your baby
we're
is.
still trying
Yeah,
to track
like,
down
who
your
the
baby.
fuck-
Oh my god.
Yeah.
wrapped.
He's-
Said that they wrapped up that baby and delivered
Exactly.
it to.
That's what
No,
it's kind
dude.
of like.
Yeah.
So
Why
what
would they
did
do that?
you have in?
There was just an empty set of
Burrito?
like there was nothing in there. Like I don't,
That's
I
crazy.
never saw it. I got the phone call and they told me what was going on, and like I freaked like because that's somebody's kid, and I felt
Right. Yeah.
terrible.
Of course.
This is
That's
extra
so
crazy because I
crazy.
just watched the Joe Rogan, Alex Jones podcast, and he
I
was
need to
talking
watch
about
that.
shit like that. And I was like,
I haven't watched it yet.
Stealing
Yeah.
babies.
Stealing dead babies.
I'm sorry. I just can't wrap my head around that they just gave you just a wrapped blanket.
Fucking blew me away too. It's like why? Who? What? Like what happened to that baby?
Right, who was the guy on the other end
Yeah.
that is getting fucked for that whole
That baby was
situation?
probably still alive and just stole a baby. Like, just like fucking
Well,
just.
yeah. My first thought is, how easy is it to go just take a dead baby?
Right.
to where no one's checking this shit. I'm
You
just
kind of like it's pretty
easy.
fucking easy. I mean,
If you want one,
you walk in with the suit, you'd be surprised how much you can get away with. No one's ever
suit and a
questioned
excuse
you.
me. I just got one by the leg. Excuse me, are you good? Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I got
well,
a
'cause
suit on.
Yeah.
I used to work at a hospital. I used to work at San Antonio right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
I've been there
so-
plenty of times.
Yeah, so I was shit because I was there for 5 years. So I mean, I may have maybe. Oh no, well you said you started at you were 13 years ago when you started doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would always see the dudes like coming in and out with a
Yep.
gurney, coming in, taking bodies out.
No one
like-
questions them because they're like, they look like they're supposed to be there.
Right.
Like I realized, dude, I can walk into the back of shit with the suit on, no problem. No one ever questions the suit. It's just like
You don't
no.
have to have your own gurney to.
I do, but when they're babies, I don't take gurneys because it's like there's no point in
Right,
taking a
you
fucking
just
thing.
carry it,
Yeah,
like-
I normally take like a little bag or something like that. Yeah, yeah,
Tote.
like a duffel bag, a tote bag. Yeah,
Maybe a a fanny pack if it's small enough, if it's a
depending.
premium
Under
one.
17 weeks gestations, fanny
Just-
pack, no problem. Just
On the go.
Mm.
dude.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. I can imagine what the description for this podcast is gonna. It's dead babies.
Man.
I'm sorry. I just have so many
There's a
questions.
yeah, I
for
guess-
you,
yeah. That's why
like,
that's how I fell into this
I-
line of work. Is just like it's so interesting.
Did you ever do any like of the cutting open of the body, sort of
Autopsies?
autopsy type of thing?
Never done the
or
autopsies. I've been there to repair it afterwards because after the
Suture
autopsy,
it
I got to
and
suture everything
Those
back up.
lazy fucking doctors. They just throw everything out and then
They-
you gotta put it all back in there.
They put it all in a big like red bag back into the empty chest cavity because they got to take out all the organs and inspect everything.
Right, and
Put
then
it all
they
in-
stuff it,
and they just
something?
stuff it back in there, just kind of just crudely sew it back up. But it's our job to like detail it back.
Oh wait,
up.
so they stuff the organs back in there?
Yeah, because they
Unless if they're not an organ donor, then they just
exactly.
get put
Especially
back
if they've
in.
been autopsied, you can't be an organ donor because they're all slicing them all up and everything, so they're just no good anymore.
Oh
so.
right.
So they just
Okay.
give them back. It's like, hey, they
Give
nothing
'em
they can do. Yeah, so here you go.
Did they do any sort of like cotton or anything like that? That's
No,
involved in.
they give them back to us in just a big red biohazard bag inside the chest cavity, and they just kind of sew it crudely back up. And then we gotta fucking get in there and like take everything out and embalm everything and like sew it back up very detailed and shit. So
Right.
yeah,
God damn.
yeah, I like that. Like I said, I enjoyed that part. That was the
The
part I really
embalming.
that the sewing them back up. I don't know what it was. I took like a lot of joy in just like seeing
Right.
afterwards because you have this gigantic jigsaw puzzle just spread
Right,
everywhere.
right,
And when you're
exactly.
done, just like I did it. Cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Like
It's Mr. Potato Head. It goes back together
Right.
again. Hooray.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. So with the embalming, like what's the process like for you when you're doing that?
For a normal person that's just without the autopsy, what you do basically is you raise the carotid and the jugular there in the neck by the neck area. It's about 2 fingers length up from the collarbone, on the right hand side of your neck. So you slice into that spot there, and then you just basically just start just look for the that's the part I always struggle with is finding the jugular and the carotid artery,
Right.
Because tendons feel exactly like them, so you got to get in there.
Right.
It's super easy if they have a pulse.
It's super easy. They're dead, not so much. So you got to find it, and once you find it, you clip into it, and you inject your fluid from the artery, and then after that, you let it build up pressure a little bit, and then you clip the vein, and then from the vein, and then it basically just serves like a heartbeat. So you're injecting in the fluid, and the veins pumping out all the blood, and the blood just washes down. This is the part that probably is going to freak out. It just goes down the drain. There's no septic tanks, there's no pumps, there's no nothing
So
special.
just straight down into.
Just straight down the drain into the
See,
fucking.
that was a follow up question. Was where does all that shit
have
go?
blood
Like,
right
bags
down to
that
the
you
regular
burn?
fucking drain, dude. Like
Wow.
so they say don't swim in those certain rivers. Don't swim in those fucking rivers, dude.
See, I would think because you deal with everything else as a biohazard,
Right?
but with the blood, it's just
Yeah.
runs straight down the city fucking drain.
Certain states have that rules where they have to go into a certain like septic tanks and shit like that.
Right.
California, you figure they'd be like super liberal. You figure they would get that shit.
Right.
Nah,
It's like, nah,
it's
lots of
fine,
people
bro.
die here.
We're gonna put that in the ocean. It's fine.
It's fine. You're good.
It's just.
Well, I mean,
it's
we're
dead.
close enough, I
The
guess.
sea
Yeah.
creatures will
Right.
take
It's
care
It's
of
like
it.
chum.
It's
Yeah,
chum. Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Juan did warn us that
Right.
it would be
Yeah, I
a
was
very
like, you guys-
depressing
No, yeah,
podcast,
no,
You guys know
so-
who you invited, right?
I mean, and that was the thing. Like, I always kind of assumed that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, it's like, where else? What else are you gonna do with it? Like,
Yeah.
you can't sell it. Like, I mean,
yeah.
like,
As a person that's familiar with decomposition, do you watch The Walking Dead and be like, gay, bullshit, boo?
They can't
They're
walk.
actually pretty fucking accurate, dude. I'm like, they're actually pretty good. Like that well zombie, I was like, dude, that's
Oh, yeah.
that's a bloated case. Like that's
Right.
a fucking a hydrated case, dude. Like yeah, just waterlogged, dude. Yeah, those cases are out there and they suck.
is there anything like? Because I mean, I don't know, much about fucking anything, but like, so like the congealing of the blood, right? Because that's always been the thing that's like bothered me about that show is that like you have these. It's been 6, 8, 10 plus years since the apocalypse has happened in the show, and they have these walkers that are killing that are obviously dilapidated and decomposed, and then they cut into them, and it's still like the squirting.
Yeah, it relates to the first question.
Right.
How
Yeah.
long does it take for the body to
Right,
decompose
like,
in the dirt?
at what point is the squirting impossible? Like,
Right,
where does it?
that's zombie science. That is like it's yet to be seen. I don't know. Technically, they shouldn't even be like they don't have a pulse. They shouldn't be squirting at all. But
if you want to get technical about it.
but I mean, this is zombies. Like fuck, we don't know, man. It's rules. Make up the rules as they go along.
Yeah, I would expect it to be more like Jello, just kind of
Right,
spill.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little congealed.
It'd be
it's
kind of a
little,
yeah, it would be. I mean, there would still be a pouring, like if gravity would still do its
right,
thing. But
obviously.
besides that, yeah, no.
They would have to. I mean, yeah. I mean, in certain zombie films, they full on fucking skeletons walk. So
Yeah.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
like.
Well, no, I mean that's that. I mean the actual them being mobile has never bothered me, but there's just the actual.
Well, how could a
shooting
skeleton
of-
walk
of,
without
like-
muscles?
Look, man, if it's still got some part of the brain stem, that's what's working, right?
Dude, I fucking tweak my knee. I can barely walk. These fucking deceased motherfuckers. Are,
I can get you a new knee. It's slightly used and slightly burnt, but I can get you a knee.
You need a knee. Got you a knee.
installation sold separate.
All right. So I think we're coming pretty close to the
All right.
end
All
here.
right.
Actually, do you have any sort of
Plug
yourself.
of your
plug
Instagram
Instagram handle shows coming up?
Aside from being
funerals
super
that you're gonna
depressing,
be doing?
Juan is also
Well, I
a
ha-
very funny comedian.
I have the Mitchell service coming up on Monday, so if you want to come attend that.
Okay, on
No,
Monday.
I'm
What
just
time
kidding.
is that?
R.I.P. Mitch.
The funeral
Well, this
starts at
episode is
8.
coming out. This episode's coming
Is
out
that
on
AM or
Thursday.
PM?
So anything after Thursday, people will be able
Right.
to show up for.
Ultimately, I just have my open mic every Wednesday at the Marquee. The last Wednesday of the month is the book
Down in
show.
San Bernardino.
Yeah, it's down in San Bernardino. Everyone, it's fun. It's fucking like if you like a little bit of danger in your shit, come down to San Bernardino.
It is a very fun show.
It's a great show. Everybody who's been there is like, oh my god, I actually had a lot of fun.
Right.
Like, yeah,
I love
so-
it. I got heckled by the
Surprisingly.
bartender, but she paid for my drinks for the rest of the night, so
Yeah, hell yeah.
totally worth it.
We fired her after that.
Well, she still gave me free drinks.
But she was no. We have, but yeah, it's and then I got to know. Then I also do a lot of work with the buddy system. I know we have a show coming up at Back to the Grind in downtown Riverside. That's coming up on the 9th, March 9th, Saturday. So we have that coming up. And a couple other just random shows throughout the city. So nothing too crazy, but
I
hey.
got an Instagram, Twitter.
You can find me on Juan Cias, Juan_Cias on Instagram. Twitter, I don't really use it. I just follow porn stars on there because it's free porn. That's about it.
Who's number one? Number one following, number one porn star.
I would say I haven't been on there in a while, but Gianna Michaels. That's always a good one.
All right.
You heard
Yeah.
it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Internet. Number one. Well, thanks a lot for being here, man. It's
Thank
been
you
great.
very much for
Thank you
coming.
so much, Juan.
Thank you for having me, man. This is fun. This is
All
fun.
right.
All right. We will see you guys with another episode very soon.
Yes, very soon.
Bye.
2 episodes this week.
Bye-bye.